Welcome to CommercialDrones.fm, the podcast that explores the commercial drone industry, the people who power it, and the concepts that drive it. I'm your host, Ian Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got quite a treat today. DJI just announced officially the Mavic Pro drone. This is a small foldable drone, very, very similar and in the exact same weight class nearly as the GoPro Karma drone, which was just released last week. And we've got some exclusive analysis on this bad boy. Really going to go ahead and try to relate this to commercial operations. It does seem like a very, very viable commercial platform. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. So at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time today, DJI took to the stage. Michael Perry of DJI, who's the familiar face that usually does all the announcement events for the company, and announced the Mavic Pro. So this drone was leaked previously all over the internet. It was very, very good timing because it was leaked right during the GoPro Karma announcement. And so lots of speculation has been flying around. Let's see what's actually true here. We'll start with the specs of the aircraft. So the aircraft is very small. I mean, on the actual presentation, Michael compared it to the size of a bottle of water, and even Justine, who I don't really know anything about, but I know the name, actually said, now I have a drone in my purse. So they're really targeting all kinds of different demographics. The actual drone was touted as the world's first personal drone, quote unquote. So this drone is meant to be with you wherever you're at. Ladies, you can stick it in your purse. Guys, you can stick it in your man bag, briefcase, whatever. You could even throw it in your pocket. So it looks, very portable. It looks smaller than the GoPro Karma. It's smaller than the Phantom. It's about half the size, and it actually has almost more features. Actually, it has more features than the Phantom 4, which is very shocking. So as I'm kind of watching the event today, I'm really looking at myself and wondering, why would I buy a Phantom 4 right now, and what's going to happen to that line? So looking at specs again, we've got a 27-minute flight time on the Mavic Pro, which is quite impressive. 24-minute hover time, because whenever you're hovering, you're not as efficient and you're wasting a little bit more energy than when you're actually in forward or any type of flight with the wind going over the airfoils, creating more lift and making the system more stable and efficient. It's got a 4K stabilized camera on an actual mini 3-axis gimbal, which is shocking. I mean, they have done quite an engineering feat in shrinking all of this technology in such a small package. The drone also has dual GLONASS GPS satellite connectivity. So GLONASS is kind of like the industry standard. It's the same thing that the Phantom 4 has. Obviously, it's not RTK GPS, but it's still quite good. It has onboard 24 high-performance computing cores. That's used primarily for the vision system. So it has 4 vision sensors. It allows you to do a lot of those easy indoor flying spots. It's got 2 vision sensors on the bottom, 2 cameras, and 2 on the front. It actually has the sonar sensor as well. Those sensors actually can detect obstacles from 49 feet away. So I don't know what the specific spec on the Phantom 4 is as far as the range of detection, but 49 feet is quite good, especially if you're traveling at higher speeds. DJI claims that it has a new transmission system for the motors, which is slightly interesting. And looking at the camera again, because that's very, very much the most important part here, it is the same sensor, it seems, as the Phantom 4, but it just has slightly less field of view. So you're not going to be able to see as much in one frame of the camera. It has a 78.8 degree field of view versus the Phantom 4's 94 degree field of view. The cost, that's pretty darn interesting, is starting at $749. So if you'll recall, GoPro's Karma, $799, but with the camera that you have to buy, a Hero 5 Black or something like that, it goes significantly more than that. So there's a few bundles with the Mavic Pro. You can get the $749 aircraft by itself without the RC transmitter. So you can just use your phone actually and use the Wi-Fi connection from your phone and use the DJI Go app to control the drone. So if you want to be even more portable, then you can go ahead and do that option, although you will sacrifice range and a few other features. We'll get to that in a second, but you can also buy the package for $999 with the RC transmitter. So that comes with light bridge and some really cool improvements there. There's also a bundle. I can't even access the store right now, actually, because it seems like the site is down. But the big bundle comes with a case, comes with a couple batteries, extra propellers, a car charger, and a charging hub, and that's $1,300. One of the cool features about the batteries are that you can actually use them, as Michael Perry mentioned on stage during the announcement, to charge your mobile devices. So that is pretty cool. DJI does offer DJI Care. They say that 10,000 customers over the past 6 months have used it. And another cool stat that we got from this live presentation and announcement was that in the last 12 months, an estimated 560 million photos and videos were taken with DJI platforms. And that's pretty ridiculous. It sounds like a lot, but if you look at the next stat, which is a 200% increase over the same period a year ago. So that is a 3x increase, which is pretty amazing. So going back to the actual hardware here, we mentioned the GLONASS GPS capability, the 4K camera, 12 megapixels, mini 3-axis gimbal, vision systems on board, new transmission system. The actual vision systems, in order to allow for easier landings, really set themselves apart. They record a short video of where it took off from. So as the drone takes off, it has a short video stored on board, and then it uses the stored video when it comes back to land to get centimeter precision for landing capabilities, which is very nice. There is a 4.3 mile range if you get the transmitter version with this drone, which I highly recommend if you're doing commercial operations. 4.3 miles equates to 7 kilometers, and that ups the ante from the Phantom 4's 720p live video transmission with DJI's new OcuSync tech up to 1080p video from 7 kilometers or 4.3 miles away. Literally ridiculous. Lightbridge, as mentioned in the previous episode, is one of the best features that DJI has, and it's something that we take for granted. And when you're comparing that to the GoPro Karma, there's just there's no comparison. You literally can't do it. One thing to note, there is that little removable windscreen, it seems, so it looks like a little bubble on the front of the drone. I'm assuming that's for protecting the camera when you're doing some racing, or if you want to keep the gimbal, the 3-axis gimbal, a bit more steady whenever you're flying at higher speeds. It does not seem to offer any type of weather resistance or water or dust ingress resistance, of course, but there's no specific waterproofing here. Another new feature is the terrain follow mode. So the drone will actually hug the terrain. So if you want it to fly 10 feet above the terrain while you're doing something up the side of a mountain, the drone will stay 10 feet above and kind of follow you around like that. So speaking of the vision system again, apologize all over the place here, but they have put their library of computer vision, cars, boats, bikes, and pets, and humans, of course, that it will actually track automatically. So a really cool thing, and similar to, I think, the GoPro, you can talk to it now. But with DJI's gesture control, you can actually use hand gestures, and instead of looking down at the transmitter, everyone's little droney or little drone selfie has a picture of them with the transmitter in their hand, or them looking down at the transmitter and trying to fly and take the picture at the same time. Gone are those days. You can use a series of hand gestures to tell the drone to focus on you and follow you, or make a kind of like a picture frame symbol with your hands, and then the drone will wait 3 seconds and then take a selfie of you, which is pretty darn cool. And then you can share that super easily, to Facebook or Twitter or whatever, because it's all on your phone and you've got your phone connected. That brings me over to the SDK support, which is another crazy feature that DJI has that no one else does, and something that really sets it off. Again, businesses are literally built around this SDK to work on DJI drones. So having that capability in there is almost the nail in the coffin for the Karma as far as commercial operations go. Going into a few of the more boring specs here. The whole package actually is 1.64 pounds, which is 743 grams, which is ridiculously tiny. The maximum service ceiling, which is worth noting, is 16,404 feet, which equates to 5,000 meters. So basically, this doesn't mean you should be flying 16,000 feet above ground, far from it. But it just means that if you're in a high altitude area up in the mountains, then you can use this drone effectively up to 5,000 meters or 16,000 feet above sea level. Sensor, again, 12.7 megapixels, so roughly 12 megapixels. Batteries are 3-cell LiPos with 3,800 and 30 milliamp hour capacity, so 3.8 amp hour capacity. Supported mobile device size, I did some comparisons. It can support any device in the transmitter, so the little mountable transmitter, which is different than the standard DJI transmitter, can support a device up to 8.5 millimeters in thickness and 160 millimeters in length. So the phablets, the phones like the Nexus 6P or the iPhone 7 Plus will fit in there, but the iPad mini will not. So that'll be a little too much. So that's one edge for the Phantom 4 that it's got going. Of course, you can just use your mobile device. So presumably you could just use an iPad mini without the transmitter itself. USB port types, it's nice to see USB Type-C on there supported. Micro USB, and it supports the Lightning connector. All right, just a quick 30-second interruption here, everyone. I want to talk really quickly about the Commercial UAV Expo. The Commercial UAV Expo is an annual commercial drone conference held in Las Vegas. This year, it's from October 31st to November 2nd at the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino. So after having been to literally every single relevant drone conference last year on both sides of the Atlantic in 2015, the Commercial UAV Expo stood out to me as my favorite because of its intense focus on commercial drone operations. Some drone conferences can feel like the old boys club with the same people attending every year, saying nearly the same things. But the Commercial UAV Expo sets themselves apart by gathering the highest quality commercial drone end users, the leaders who are actually out there using drones in their business, and bring them together to demonstrate keynotes, presentations, and breakout sessions. The UAV Expo is focused from start to finish on commercial operations, so not really any hobby talk there. I'm super happy I'll be there again this year, and this time as a sponsor, because the podcast is actually a media partner of the UAV Expo. So I hope to see you out at the Commercial UAV Expo in Vegas. It's going to be a great time leveling up our commercial drone knowledge together. You can learn more or register to attend at expouav.com. Back to the show. So we'll get into some more deeper analysis here. So some of the observations that I found, there was a really nice, somewhat clever GoPro jab. There was a backpack during the announcement sitting on the podium on the stage with Michael Perry as he set the scene. And he was about to announce the Mavic drone, and he pointed to the backpack and said, yeah, it could fit in that backpack, but it's actually not in the backpack. And he did a clever little pulled the drone out of his back pocket maneuver. So if you remember CEO Nick Woodman of GoPro going crazy that the drone fit in a tiny backpack, I thought that was a little kind of clever GoPro jab there. The technology here is just really miniaturizing. It's going much towards mobile phone kind of computing, how everything was getting smaller. Now we see a lot of mobile phones getting larger. And so there really is a place for every kind of drone. I mean, drones and phones have different end use cases. So with drones, sometimes you need to carry a larger camera or a sensor or a payload. So larger drones will still, of course, have their spot in this world of commercial drones. DJI said it was designed to be, I believe, 1/3 the size of an A4 piece of paper, which is roughly size and weight of a water bottle. a bigger water bottle. So the DJI goggles, while very interesting, were super big, clunky, and white, monstrosity-looking things almost. I don't know battery life or any other specs on them. I'm sure they're great, but I'm not like super stoked on those, although those could be good for inspection. I mean, who knows? Getting that shared user experience with FPV goggles on two operators could be pretty nice. So DJI is definitely going after everybody with this drone, as evidenced by iJustine going on stage. The female demographic was represented. Now I have a drone in my purse, she said, and also the whole personal drone and marketing video was filled with gals, which was nice to see for once. So that was pretty nice. And GoPro stock, to kind of touch on that a little bit, GoPro stock was actually, I checked out my phone during the event, it knocked down up to 6.12% during the live stream. So Wall Street's paying attention to what DJI is doing. Even though DJI is a private company, it has effect on GoPro stock. So that's worth noting there. The DJI Go app can also now do some editing and sharing videos instantly. So I believe this is new. It's the Smart Edit feature, and it will automatically sync your video and cut it up so that the included music tracks on the DJI Go app can actually just be perfectly in line with your video, and all the cuts will actually be associated with the music track. So that's pretty cool. Makes it a lot easier to share. Of course, you've got Facebook Live with that partnership, and they've got live to YouTube, Periscope, etc. The geospatial environment online. This is just another reason why DJI is leading the pack. This is what the geofencing is from DJI. So it'll warn the operator with geofencing about where they shouldn't fly. So if there's wildfires or no-fly zones, or you're around an airport or within an airport's zone, it will tell you, or it'll stop the drone from taking off. This is great for enterprise. This is great for all kinds of commercial operations where you don't want to be breaking the law and you want to always be safe. So that's another check in DJI's direction. We mentioned the SDK support, which is huge. The price is great, I think. The $999 price point for commercial operations, that's still nothing. That's less than the P4. You're getting arguably a better drone. I don't see any reason to not really like that price point. Compared to the other competition out there, this is literally the smallest, most powerful drone that exists on the market. So can't wait to get my hands on one. For commercial operations, so going back to the image sensor for photogrammetry, for example, the sensor actually has a smaller field of view. So what that means is that if you're trying to do a mapping mission, which you will be able to do with this drone, given the included SDK support, so using your drone mapping app of choice, you can go ahead and execute a lawnmower flight pattern and take all the nadir imagery directly below your drone. What it means with the smaller field of view, however, is that it won't be able to cover the same area of a Phantom 4 in comparison, one-to-one. So since the Phantom 4 has a larger field of view, it can capture more of the ground if you're talking about nadir imagery in one image and in a set of images than the Mavic Pro will. So you'll have to fly for the same area to map slightly longer. You might have to go a little bit higher in order to compensate for that. But the battery life is supposedly, I believe, a little bit better than the P4. I've never gotten more than 24 minutes from a Phantom 4, so it'll be nice to see if this 27-minute estimate holds up. There you have it. I mean, you'll be able to do all kinds of photogrammetric stuff with this drone, inspection workflow. You can do aerial video and photography. I mean, I'm just very impressed with what DJI's put out here. It's at a perfect time. I'm curious what the future of the P4 line will hold. I believe Inspire 2 would probably be coming soon, maybe before the holidays, in a month or two. And yeah, we'll have to wait and see for that. So I'll be kind of posting up some additional insights as they come in. This is just going to be a really, really interesting piece of hardware that I think is going to have a big effect on the drone industry. So we're going to be seeing a lot more aerial photos and videos on YouTube and Facebook and everywhere. We'll have to deal with that. But from commercial perspective, this thing goes toe-to-toe with anything else out there that DJI has, and often bests much platforms, I imagine, that cost nearly 10 times as more. So DJI continuing to crush it. GoPro, the battle of David and Goliath is shaping up, and now I believe I know the answer to the question. DJI is definitely Goliath, but at this time, I don't know if they'll be taken down by David. Thanks for listening. Cheers.
Cause you got sideburns in a vintage tee. I said you ain't artsier than me. Cause you pluck a guitar, that ain't bizarre. You ain't artsier than me. Cause you live in low speed.